And we have the man, Boris Theobold. Oh, no, Boris Hiestand. Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you? Yeah, very good.
I'm excited, you know, real excited. So Jennifer, we got a present for you.
What's that?
We got a present for you.
You got a present for me?
Yes.
What?
From Thomas Wally.
Thomas? Oh.
Did this for you.
Amazing. Oh, thank you, Thomas. Are you out there? Thank you, Thomas. This is awesome. Woohoo! Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you.
Forward to share that with you.
Thanks.
So, guys, Overwatch. You guys excited to hear what's going to go on? You guys are excited to see them? Make some noise. Wake up.
Let's go. This half over here on the far side decided not to say anything.
I know. They need a coffee. So we have Ashe, Sigma, and Tracer on stage. This is exciting because I used to read comics about you, Tracer. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, I had the comics at home. I was like, oh my God, this is mad. But I've left my comics at home. I would have got signs, but yeah, excited as well. And I play you all the time, Sigma.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just like, oh my days, this is great. So get to see you guys. You give me the hardest time because my younger sister and brother play your character. And I think to myself, okay, let me try dupping them now. Dupping them means unlive them. I can't say, you know. But it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
The game's tricky.
I ain't easy. Let's just put it that way.
I know. So what I want to know, what's the audition process like for this role to play your characters?
Well, mine was a very long time ago. So I think I first auditioned back in 2014 for the game before, I think it launched in 2016. But I was on board from 2014, like in the early development. And I got the casting through from my agent, I guess. And it was under a code name. I think at this point I knew so little about video games I didn't even know what Blizzard was. I told my friend I was auditioning for a game for Blizzard and like that sounded cool, and my friend who plays a lot of games was like, obviously I realized it was kind of a big deal. And I got the information that Tracer was a pilot and she was from London and she was like really hard. And I think my first round for the audition, I did a voice that was a bit like a Jason Statham sort of army impression, which was obviously entirely incorrect. But luckily they got me in again, and I worked with Andrea, who directs most of the vocals, and she put me in the right direction. And I've been working with them ever since. But it's amazing because I think of all the characters that I've played, Tracer is the one I've played for the longest. And hope to continue to play. But yeah, it was a long time ago now.
Interesting. Great. So what about you, Sigma? No, I'm going to you, Ashe. I'm going to get to you. Don't worry, I forgot about you.
I'm here.
Well, for me, it was I knew of the game because obviously it had already been released a few years, I think 2-3 years. This is somewhere in the middle of 2019. I got a briefing for a crazy, at the time, German scientist. And I thought, okay, great. So did the audition, left, because usually you do an audition and then you leave because you think, you know, I should stay, I should leave and go home and get on with my life, and probably not going to get it. Then I got a call back, and like Cara, I think it was the same for all of us. They didn't tell us what the game actually was. They just said, you know, do your best, forget the rest. We did it, the second time, the callbacks are always a bit scary because you know you've done something right, which is why they want you back, but you also know that it wasn't good enough that they gave you the job outright. So you get nervous, like, well, what am I going to do the same thing? Am I going to do something different? I don't know what they want me to do. So we did it again. Then they said, no, we really like it when it's Dutch. And the scientist is now Dutch, and so they wanted a slightly stronger Dutch accent. And they wanted me to sound a little bit older, and then Sigma was born. And then a week later, I got the job. And that's only when they told me that it was for Overwatch. And it was only then that I thought, oh, wow, this is, wow, that's nice. Because, of course, the game was already, I guess, when you were there from the beginning as well, right?
Nope, I was the second round of character
Oh,
editions.
I see. So, but for you, because you didn't really know what it was, because it was brand new, it was like this amazing thing when it became such a big thing. But for me, as a later character, it was like, oh, I get to be part of this incredible, amazing, big thing that everyone loves already. So it felt like a nice gift. Like, here you go, have that. It's really, really lovely.
Okay, Jennifer, your turn.
Well, I came in, I wasn't one of the first round of characters that were announced in the game. I was the second round, and they sent me the audition, and in this case, sometimes I get auditions where it's a request. They're like, we want you to read for this. And that can be the great, or it can be the kiss of death.
I just hear pressure. That's all I heard.
Yeah, it can be fabulous or the other. And but in this case, it was a great match because I spent Ashe is from the South in the U.S. and I spent a lot of time there in my life, and it was very easy to fall into it. And just had a great time and went in with Matt Mercer, and we recorded the cinematics that introduced Ashe first. And that was just such a great way to start. Such a great way. And I want to say something about callbacks. I want to talk about callbacks. If there's any actors out there, in the callback, you're in the callback because you did a few things right. You did several things right. So just go back and start there. Nothing is missing. They're assembling a salad, and they don't know if they need kiwis on it or tangelos. You're simply there to be the best version of you can be. And it is not up to you, and it's not about whether you're good enough or not. It is about that it's now flavor adjustment. And you did something beautifully right to be there in the first place.
Oh, I'll give that. That's nice props. Thank you for that, because I'm an actor myself, so I like that tip. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, okay, we talked about the audition stage and process and stuff like that. So how was it finding the voice of these particular characters? I understand during the audition they told you, like, you had to speak in a particular way and mannerisms and everything, but how did you find the je ne sais quoi of your characters?
Your gut. Go with your gut. It's in the writing. I once had I've taken 1 billion classes in my life. I'm a firm believer in education and continuing education in this profession. But I once had a casting director say, read that script 5 times before you make a single choice. 5 times. It is because don't go straight to performance. You're going to miss all these details because then your focus narrows and you can't see the big picture. You want to read it to get the story. What's happening in general? Then read it again. Okay, who am I in this whole picture of people? Then you read it again. What's everybody else saying about me? What's everybody else saying to me? Read it again. What are all these stage directions that were in between the things I skimmed over and didn't read? What are they going to give me? Read it again. What does my imagination say? Now start to play with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Boris?
Well, in the case of Sigma, because he's so fragmented and he gets very loud and very quiet and very big and very small, it was very much like that. But it's just read it in as many different ways as possible, and then kind of analyze that and find what works for which section. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the same as what you're saying, because what I heard you say is almost like you just read it almost blank, as if it's abstract. That way it becomes kind of part of you, and then you know the lines already, and then you can give them color and light, and that's really nice. But in this case, I guess it's a different approach to a similar thing, is to do something in crazy ways, even though you know that you're not going to end up doing it this particular way, but just do it that particular way. Do it as a child, do it as a woman, scream it, do it in all these different ways, and so you get that out of your system, and then instinctually you'll arrive at something that's correct. There's different approaches for every single different project and different characters and different parts and different scenes and different scripts, but for Sigma that worked really well because it was he goes all over the place. So to go to all those different places and then you find it kind of automatically.
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, just to add to what you're saying is that so many times in our job, a lot of people come at it like, what do they want? What do they want? Don't. Stick with the writing and what you have to give. and always go in there, enter to give, not to get. You're there to give the writer the experience of seeing that creation through the prism of who you are.
Yeah, I think you have to sort of be bold with the choice that only you can make. For me, with Tracer, it was interesting because I had done, I think before Tracer, I hadn't done any game or animation voices. Most of my work had been on screen, where I might have to do a different accent, but I'm coming from a different place. The voice is not the only thing I have to act with, and often looking for a more sort of in the real world voice, a lot similar to my own. So in developing Tracer, it was sort of finding what world that she lived in, and I found like seeing the early images and seeing the early sort of like illustrations for what the first animation might look like was very helpful to know that the energy would be up. And I think with Tracer, so much of her is her sort of spirit and her energy, that putting that into the voice was very important, because she speaks very differently to how I speak in real life. But a way in was really early on in the work I was doing. They kept talking about that she needed, there was so many lines that was just her laughing. And she has quite an iconic laugh. And I remember in one of the really early recording sessions, having to they were like, just laugh for a while. So having not worked in voice acting for very long, just sort of having to, record myself. And I think for the audition, I was at home, and I think I sort of locked myself in my wardrobe and was just going, for about 10 minutes, slowly going insane and hyperventilating. But there are things like that I think help build the character. And now, I've been doing it for this particular character for so long that it's so easy to just access her. She's just there all the time now. She lives inside me all the time.
So you don't laugh like that in real life?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Cara, I'm glad that you went onto that type of theme of things, because it leads to my next question.
Ooh.
So besides the voice, is there anything else you guys have done to add influence to the game or character?
I mean, with Tracer, because she is a British character, and for a while, she's the London character, and with it being written by incredible writers but based in America, often we have a lot of discussion in my sessions about like dialect or like phrases or slang that we might say in the UK that is different to America. And there was one line particularly where it is in the game, and people have come up to me at conventions and they have found it, where it was written and it's a swear word, and we had to, in the recording studio in London, we were like, oh, that's swearing, do you know that? And the writer hadn't realized it was quite such a rude word. Okay. But we let them know and gave them some other options, but it still made it into the game.
What was the word?
It's a bit early in the day.
Well, it's 12 o'clock, so past 12.
Hide the children.
I was going to say, it's Boris's daughter.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's stop now.
She can handle it. She can handle it.
Well, there's a line where it goes, ooh, wanker, which...
Is that it? Okay.
But still, I'm like, kids play this game.
No, we know in North America that's not a polite term.
And I was like, you could say, oh, tosser, or something. Or
That's not better. That's the same.
it feels gentler.
Does it now? Oh, I'm sorry.
It feels gentler somehow.
Okay, that's interesting.
So that's in the game?
It is in the game.
Have you found it? Have you guys found it? Is it
or played it? Yeah.
She's not lying.
So that was the influence that you played a part to Tracer in the game?
I let them know it was a swear word.
Okay.
Or things like that, stuff
And they
you would
ignored
say specifically in the UK.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. What were you, Jennifer?
We were recording various lines for Ashe, and they asked me just to start making stuff. They were like, this one line wasn't quite flying, and I said, let me just try something. And I just started making stuff up, and this line stayed in the game, and it's, round here, it's my way, or, oh, who am I kidding? It's my way. It just started to be around here, it's my way or the highway, and I was like, let me just play with this for a minute. Yeah. That stayed in the game.
So you got to freestyle.
I totally did. And then there's some singing stuff where I just kind of like made a bunch of stuff up.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
It was very fun, yeah.
Okay. And you, Boris?
I think they let all of us freestyle in the karaoke place, right? That singing thing.
That was it.
So everyone has they go to this place and they can have a little moment.
Is that out in the game already?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shows who's the gamer out of you guys now. So I know who's the gamer now. It's Boris.
Yeah. I lose track of what I recorded when and if it exists in the real world yet. But yeah, the karaoke is really something.
It was so fun. But it was strange because I don't think I even had a beat track, like a rhythm behind me or anything. We just kind of had to
Freestyle
go.
it.
I'm rapping in mine.
Yeah, same.
So Boris, is there anything else you add to the game of your own influence?
You mean lines?
Does lines or costume design or anything that you like?
Well, the costume is all mine.
Yeah.
That's what I wear usually.
Any other import?
And I thought you need. No, seriously. I mean, in terms of lines, the writing is just so good, and they know what they want and they know what they're doing, so you don't mess with that really. But similarly, because of a lot of the characters are international, and my character is Dutch and I am Dutch.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think they have some Dutch people at Blizzard that help them come up with these sayings and these lines that are Dutch. But they always run it by me to make sure that it's correct. And there have been instances where it was not quite applicable, or it was a bit strange, like your swear word, where it wasn't sweary, but it was just like, I'm not sure if this is the right thing. How about this one? And then we record the suggestion as an alt, and whether or not what's in the game, I'm not quite sure. But I think I've changed a few things here and there. But really, it's minimal. 99% is as scripted. And in terms of what of myself is in the character, well, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, from an actor's point of view, from my point of view, we put all our essence in that particular character to make it who we are. Or I like to say is that's us in another time or another realm or a multiverse.
Yes.
That's how I like to see it as.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for me, Sigma, because it's such a dark character, that is just, something to really sink your teeth into.
Yeah.
And and I'm a very disturbed, dark individual. So,
Guys, I just want to let you know, if you guys got any questions you want to ask the guys, by all means stand and line up by that microphone, get into an orderly fashion of a line, and we get ready to answer them, okay? Thank you, I appreciate that. I'll call you guys out, not straight away. I got one more thing to say, then we'll be on to you guys, the audience. So, do you guys play the game? And if so, what's your favorite weapon or item? And what console do you guys have as well? So I can judge.
Suck at playing games. I am the worst. I am horrifyingly bad. I enjoy watching, though.
So, do you have a console?
No, I did another game called Synapse, and I was very excited because they were going to send me a VR set up so I could play it. And I received the VR setup, and I was so thrilled. And I was like, oh, you have to have the PlayStation to hook the VR up to. Never mind. My nephews have it, so we took it over to their house.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
cool.
I've done Beat Saber and stuff like that, but that's it.
I do not have a console. I have played it on friends' consoles in the past, and I played it at BlizzCon actually when they had like the beta version set up back in the day. I don't really play games, so I am terrible because I think if you're not used to doing the controls fast, a first-person shooter is very, very difficult, especially if obviously I want to play as Tracer, and she's very difficult to play as.
She's fun, a bit quirky for me, but fun at the same time.
Yeah, sure. I'm rubbish. I also find watching it is actually really difficult. My brother, this was way back when the game first came out. My brother was playing it one Christmas at my family home on like the big TV, and I had to leave the room because it made me have motion sickness.
Same.
Wow.
It moves so fast, but I enjoy it being played in another room, hearing all the voices, because I'm like, yeah, I'm part of that.
Okay.
But I'm just not playing it.
Have you ever popped into, I did this once for another game, popped into somebody's live stream of the game on YouTube, and then you start chatting, and then they're like, they don't believe you at first, and you're like, no, it is, and then they're like, what?
I have sort of spoken down someone's headphones and done voice lines, which is very confusing.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so fun.
Yeah.
What were you, Boris?
I've got a PS4 and a Switch and a Quest 2 and a PC, so I do love to game.
Man came prepared with the consoles. Okay, cool.
But Overwatch is on the PC.
Okay, PC gamer.
And I have it installed.
Yeah.
And when Overwatch 2 came out, I installed that. I played Overwatch, the first one, quite a few times to get into it.
Yeah.
And I played as myself.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
And I thought that was cool. And I did the same thing where it's like, I've got you now. You're just taunting people and say, as the character, like, get out of my way. And people go, what's going on? But I have to admit, even though I've got it installed, I still haven't played Overwatch 2.
Okay, that's fine.
But I need to get on it. And I always say this, I really want to do it. But, with the mountains of time that I don't have, always end up doing something else instead, like doing the dishes or cleaning the house.
Adulting, basically, just kicks in.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a big kid. Clearly shows that. So, audience members, you guys ready? Got a question?
Hello. I first want to say to Cara, your performance as Tracer means absolutely everything to me.
Oh, thank you so
much. It
much.
helped me come out of my shell. I know that sounds kind of weird, but thank you
weird.
so much. My question is for Jennifer. I just want to ask what your thoughts would be to somebody who wants to become an author or writer. What kind of advice you would give them?
Number one advice, get in David Hayter's line and talk to him when he gets here later today. He is an incredible writer. I am not a writer, so I feel highly unqualified, but I've made my living in this creative world. And what I would say to you and what I have learned is write, I check this with Dave, but write every day. Write badly. I write songs, and this is what I do when I get blocked in songs. I write badly. I set out to write something bad because that takes the pressure off and I can play. Just show up just to do the thing each day. I teach this craft through my site, Skills Hub. And what I tell people is each day that you show up to do it, just for a few minutes, you've laid down a piece of paper. And then the next day you lay down another piece of paper. And you lay down enough pieces of paper and you have a piece of cardboard. And then you lay down enough pieces of paper that add up to cardboard and you've got a nice solid wood foundation. So just it's a little bit every day. And also attend to the talk in your head. Attend to this environment. It sets the tone for everything in your life. Clean it up so that it loves and supports you regardless.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hello there. First of all, sorry about that. First of all, it's a pleasure to meet all three of you. As a big Overwatch fan, I've played the game since day one when it first came out in, was it 2016, something like that? But I do have a question in particular for all three of you, but I would like to hear about from Cara's point of view. With Tracer representing us Brits, is there any other parts of the UK that you would love to see being represented in Overwatch, like Northern England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, etc.?
This is very easy for me. Yes, Yorkshire.
Yes.
Because that is where I am from. And I think we should have a Yorkshire character in it. And I'll do that one as well. So, obviously, Yorkshire.
Done.
The other ones are fine. Maybe Birmingham.
There you go.
I'm a Londoner,
Since we're here,
so
maybe
I'm from
Birmingham.
I'm from London, so you're doing me fine. So, yeah, I'm happy.
London is covered. Yorkshire or Birmingham.
What about Geordie from Newcastle?
Absolutely. I think the more regional accents, the better. And what will be fun is that everyone who plays it in the UK will know what it is, and everyone in the rest of the world will be very confused.
Indeed, yeah. I get that all the time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Hello. My question is it's for all of you. Is there a voice line that you want in the game that isn't in the game already?
Yeah. You're not from around here, are you? I want that one.
God, that was so good. Oh, I don't know. Boris, you please.
Wow, pressure pushed away.
Well, for me, it's about bitterballen. I don't know if you've ever been to Holland or had bitterballen, but they are these meaty balls of delight, and you have them with a lick of mustard. And I think that his kinetic orbs for a season should be bitter balls, and he should be throwing them at people, and he should say, lekkere bitterballen, lekkere bitterballen. I think that would be good.
That's so good.
Thank you.
I think there should be something in there. I think it's only right that Tracer, I imagine, would be a supporter of the Lionesses.
Okay.
And the Lionesses are playing at Wembley tonight, so something about, come on, you Lionesses! Woo!
Why
or
not?
something.
Yeah.
I say this because if I was not here, I did have tickets to go and watch them this evening, so I'm a little bit sad that I can't see them.
Oh, sorry about that. My bad.
Thank you so much.
I love how you're all just emerging from the ground. Please stand up. Surely you're allowed to stand up.
I think you should wave the camera.
Oh, there's a camera.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Hello.
see. Hello.
I forgot what I was going to say. This one's for all three of you. What is your favourite skin? It doesn't have to be your character.
I have a question for you. What's your favorite Ashe skin? Anybody?
Oh,
Let's hear it.
I don't know the name. It's the new one that came out. The bear. When
Oh.
Bob's a bear.
Yes, I'll go with that one.
Yeah.
She cheated.
I think maybe since it's coming up to Christmas, the sort of little elf Christmas skin I like. It's very festive.
I love the conductor. My favorite.
Simple but effective. You see that there?
Thank you.
Efficient.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is going to be the last question. That's all we have time for, guys.
If you have some questions, we'll be at our tables, so feel free to come along
see
and
us
ask
at our
questions.
tables.
Yeah.
First of all, Overwatch is a big thing for me. It was the game that got me into gaming, so thank you. My question is, what is your favourite aspect of your character that past the voice makes it your character in your mind?
She runs the show.
I think just sort of Trace's enthusiasm. I love the fact that even when the team are pushed to breaking point, she really loves what she does, and she loves being part of the team, and she always manages to find some fun, and I think that's a great quality to have.
I think for Sigma is that even though he's big, mean tank, and he's a bit crazy, I think deep down inside he's a very warm and soft and kind person, and that really speaks to me, and I think that's really sweet. He's kind of a sweetheart in a way, and he's being taken under. It's usually Sombra, I think, but it's some other characters as well that kind of take care of him a little bit, and that's quite nice. I like to be taken care of.
Great answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, guys, where can we find you on social media? If we were looking for social media, I was happy to follow you. Where can we find you guys?
On Instagram, I think, off the top of my head,
Yeah, go on.
at Cara Theobold, or maybe at Cara_Theobold.
Okay.
And on Twitter, it's at Cara Theobold. It's very obvious.
Okay, fair enough.
On Twitter, I am at jhaletweets. On Instagram, I am at jhalegram, Gram. And Facebook, I think it's official Jennifer Hale. And you can always find me on my site, acting.skillshub.life.
And you, Boris?
Yeah, it's same at Boris Hiestand Instagram and at Boris Hiestand at Twitter. And there's also a little website, borishiestand.com. See you there.
And
Fantastic. Oh, sorry, Jennifer. No, thank you guys. And if you guys want to ask any more questions or anything like that, feel free to go to their table to sign with them and talk with them there. My name is Michael Adji, your host, and take care, stay blessed. Thank you guys.